The sun spilled through the linen curtains, bathing the living room in a soft golden haze, and she stood barefoot by the window, clutching a cup of lukewarm tea. As the world outside moved on, unaware of the storm swelling in her chest, her name was Amara, and for years she had called him her rock, her calm, her safe place. But all of that changed the moment she saw his hand resting on someone else's thigh. Not just anyone's thigh, but Zara's, the girl who once tied her braid on the school bus. The woman who held her hand during her miscarriage, the one who whispered promises of always being on her side. Amara tried to blink it away, telling herself it was innocent. Maybe he dropped something. Maybe it was helping her. Maybe her mind was making something of nothing but no. The way Zara looked at him with that tilted head, that soft laugh, that hand sliding up his arm spoke a language no sister should speak, and her husband. Arian did not flinch, did not pull away, did not even notice his wife's presence when she walked into the rooms. Era looked up with a small gasp, and Arian jolted upright, guilt crashing over his face like a wave too late. Too heavy into Clara. Amara didn't scream, she didn't throw the cup, she didn't cry, she simply turned and walked back out the door, her heart beat loud in her ears as the memories ran wild inside her like a stampede to picnics. The lazy Sundays, the way Zara once cried on her shoulder about a heartbreak, and how Ariane held both of them that night like family, because that's what they were supposed to be. Betrayal tasted like metal on her tongue. And she sat on the porch for what felt like hours, staring at the garden she once planted with Zara, marigolds, and tulips, and little herbs. They never remembered to water. Arian came out hours later, sitting next to her in silence, his presence once a comfort, now a thorn in her skin, and when he finally spoke, it was a whispered, "Just happened." She laughed, a sound so hollow it echoed inside her, and she turned to him, eyes dry, lips pressed together, her voice softer than she felt. "No, it didn't just happen. You chose it every time. You leaned closer, every time you laughed too long, every time you forgot I was in the room." He opened his mouth, but there was nothing he could say, and they sat like that until night fell, wrapping the porch in shadows, and the silence between them grew louder than the truth. She didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the years over and over. How blind she had been. How foolish to think love was enough to keep loyalty in place. And when morning came, she packed a bag. Not because she was leaving, but because she needed space. Space to feel something other than numbness. Zara texted once a single message, "Please talk to me." Amara didn't reply, not because she didn't have words, but because every word she wanted to say would tear something apart, and some things were already broken. Enough. She drove for hours, not knowing where she was going, until she found herself outside her mother's old cottage, now empty, now still, but somehow more comforting than home there. She sat on the steps, watching the sky shift, and for the first time since the moment her world collapsed, she let the tears come, no longer holding back, no longer pretending that she wasn't shattered. The wind carried the scent of salt from a distant shore, and she closed her eyes, remembering a time before love, before betrayal, before the lines between friend and enemy blurred so cruelly. She would return home. She would face him, and maybe she would even face her. But for now, she would stay here with the silence, the truth, and the painful freedom of knowing she would never see either of them the same again.